Today on Public Eye News, consumers urged not to drink cider from Bowen's Mills in Middleville, and later body cam footage of Minneapolis police officers during unrest was released after trial.
Later, Megan will have your weather for the weekend, and Michael will have your sports update. Hello, I'm Abigail Fakes.
And I'm Megan Tarcia, and this is Public Eye News. Michigan Department of Agriculture and Rural Development is advising the general public to not consume cider produced by Bowen's Mills in Middleville, Michigan, after an inspection led by MDARD found that the mill was operating an unlicensed cider and processing facility and selling the cider in violation of the Michigan Food Law PA 92 of 2000 as amended. Consumers should discard any cider product produced by Bowen Mills. Governor Gretchen Whitmer has announced that October will now be officially recognized as Michigan Agritourism Month. The month-long celebration is to bring attention to the economic and social benefits that agritourism brings to the state of Michigan and pushes tourists to support local farms, families, and businesses such as cider mills, farmers markets, and roadside produce stands at the peak of harvest time. And here's this week's Upper Peninsula fishing report. Starting in Ontonagon and Union Bay, anglers have found success for lake trout at around 100 feet depth while trolling spoons. Heading east to the Keweenaw, anglers were reporting morning to mid-afternoon catches of lake trout, choho, and rainbow trout in calmer waters. Not to leave our Lake Michigan anglers out, Big and Little Bay Dinock have had successes with perch, smallmouth bass, and walleye. Ambitious anglers casting deep water structures have also reported contact with large northern pike. As one final tip, anglers are recommended to bring a thermometer and be mindful of water temperatures.
The Mackinac Bridge Authority will meet October 14th to discuss the update of the South Tower painting project. This project includes repaving of the South Vatican section of the bridge and bridge driver's assistance and vehicle transport services. Western Michigan University loses appeal to have student athletes get the COVID-19 vaccine requirement. Thursday, a federal appeal ruled in favor of athletes at WMU who sued to be allowed to play sports without getting the vaccine. The federal judge said this requirement likely violates the athletes' constitutional right to follow their Christian religion. At least 16 of these athletes are women who got the vaccine exemption on religious grounds but were ignored or denied. University of Michigan President Mark Schizzle will be stepping down as president in 2023. He said this Thursday. But he'll return to teaching and doing some research. President Schizzle gave his annual leadership address 2 days after announcing he would leave his post after 9 years. Don't touch that dial. We'll be back with your national and international news.
It's time to end America's longest war.
After 20 years,
the Taliban takes control of Afghanistan.
The Taliban are back in charge. With decades of unprecedented access, reporter Najibullah Qureshi investigates the threats from Al-Qaeda and ISIS.
Explosion outside of the airport.
And the fear among the Afghan people.
Last U.S. troops have withdrawn from Afghanistan.
Now that America is gone.
Tuesday night at 9 on WNMU-TV.
Welcome back. Welcome back. New body cam footage has been released of the Minneapolis police behavior days after the death of George Floyd back in May of 2020. Jaleel Stallings, who has been charged with second-degree attempted murder and 7 other criminal charges after firing 3 shots at officers at a protest, shared the body cam footage in court as evidence for self-defense. The video shows officers enthusiastic about shooting protesters with rubber bullets and celebrating after hitting people. Stallings' attorney believes the footage speaks for itself. And starting in the next school year, New York City public schools will begin phasing out its program for gifted and talented students, which many people believe is discriminatory against children of color. The program uses a screening test to identify talented kindergartners and admits only 2,500 out of 65,000 children citywide every year. Mayor Bill de Blasio said, quote, "The era of judging 4-year-olds based on a single test is over," end quote. The city will instead provide accelerated learning where students use advanced skills in subjects such as robotics, computer coding, and community organizing. And one of Duluth's spookiest attractions is back this year after nearly 4 years away. The haunted ship typically takes over Duluth's harbor every October, but has been closed since 2017. First for the whole restoration, then because of the pandemic. CBS 3's Quinn Gorham visited the ship earlier and spoke with event planners to see what kinds of scary surprises this year's attendees have in store.
Great every day on here, for sure.
Even the event staff is scared of Duluth's haunted ship, but they say it's an event that's become an iconic part of October in Duluth.
It's become a tradition for many people. You know, they're very excited because it's been gone a few years to come back to the haunt.
Steve Rankola with the deck is one of the masterminds behind the terrifying tour. He says a lot of work goes into building each year's haunted house.
We're planning for this next year's haunt already. We've gone through exactly what we've done, how we prepared the room, and our goal is to actually scare everyone we can.
But Halloween isn't the only time the ship is haunted. Workers say the ship is spooky all year round.
We do have a certification from the Duluth Paranormal Society saying that we are a haunted site. So I think it probably adds a little something to it.
But Lucy Amundsen, communications director at the deck, says the ship is more than just a spooky attraction.
We're just hoping to have that sense of community that we've always had before. There are typically long lines, and there's a lot of visiting in those lines. People literally and figuratively get cold feet in those lines.
And aside from the huge crowds and the fun frights, the haunted ship's ultimate mission is clear.
Our goal is to scare the heck out of you.
At least 25 killed and lots more injured after a blast went off in northern Afghanistan Friday in a mosque filled with worshippers. The blast was a security challenge to the Taliban after our transitioning from an insurgency to a governance. The explosion went off through the mosque during noon prayers, the highlight of the Muslim religious week. No one has claimed responsibility for this explosion yet. The Moroccan king Mohammed VI appointed a new government on Thursday made up of liberal and conservative parties and led by very wealthy businessmen. A rally of National Independence Party is made up of 24 ministers, including 7 women. These 7 women have retained their positions, including important foreign and interior ministers. Pfizer is seeking approval for a low-dose COVID-19 vaccine for kids. The drug maker submitted its application to federal regulators yesterday. If all goes well, the request could be granted by Thanksgiving. Leah Podesta reports from New York.
Coronavirus vaccines could soon become available for children aged 5 to 11. Pfizer has asked the FDA for an emergency use authorization for that age group. Pfizer's pediatric COVID vaccine is a low-dose version of its regular shot. It contains just a third of the amount given to adults and teenagers, but in tests, it offered similarly strong protection against the virus.
You want to maximize the protection with the fewest amount of side effects.
Experts welcomed the announcement, saying that while most children can tolerate a COVID infection, not all do.
Sometimes we're not able to predict well who will suffer severe consequences.
The FDA's Vaccine Advisory Committee will discuss Pfizer's request on October 26th. The shots could be approved the next month. Laura Podesta, CBS News.
Up next is weather and sports.
Whether observing life on a luxury liner or watching reporters cover the El Chapo trial, the camera reveals an absurd side of human nature.
He's a mythical figure at this point. They don't know what was real and what wasn't real.
POV Shorts. Follow the leader.
Wednesday night at 6 on WNMU-TV.
Welcome back to Public Eye News. I'm Megan Tarcia here with your weather. Behind me looks like a very gloomy NMU campus as we look into today's conditions. We have scattered rain showers throughout the day with a temperature of 66 degrees. Our winds are south-southeast at 4 miles per hour, and our barometric pressure is 30 inches and falling. Looking into tonight's conditions, we will have cloudy skies with a low of 62 degrees, and our winds will be south at 5 miles per hour. Tomorrow's conditions will be partly cloudy throughout the day and with a high of 69 degrees, and our winds will be south-southeast at 5 miles per hour. Looking across the UP, starting over in Sault Ste. Marie, it is 64 and cloudy. Manistique at 65 and cloudy. Escanaba at 65 and cloudy as well. Menominee, Iron Mountain, and Ironwood are all at 66 and cloudy. Up in Houghton, it is 68 and cloudy. And here in beautiful Marquette, it is as well 66 and cloudy. Looking ahead to our weekly conditions, starting with Sunday, it is a high of 71 and a low of 58, with sunny skies in the morning and thunderstorms with a chance of hail in the evening. Monday will be a high of 69 and a low of 57 with mostly cloudy skies. And Tuesday will be a high of 64 with a low of 55 with rain throughout all day. Now shooting it over to Michael with our sports update.
Hi there, tonight is the start of the NMU Wildcat hockey season as they welcome the St. Thomas Tommies for the first time ever to the Berry. St. Thomas played their inaugural games last week against St. Cloud, losing 12-2 and 2-0 at the XL Energy Center. The Wildcats look to start off their season with some easy wins, and St. Thomas, after being kicked out of their Division III conference, make the 6th Division I hockey team in the state of Minnesota. Russell Wilson is no longer undefeated on Thursday Night Football. The Seahawks took on the Rams last night and lost 26-17. Wilson would leave the game in the second half due to injury, but Geno Smith stepped in to deliver a dart to DK Metcalf for a touchdown. The touchdown would not be enough as Smith would be intercepted on the Seahawks' final drive. Matthew Stafford threw for 365 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. The Rams improved to 4-1, whereas the Seahawks fall to 2-3. And last night, the Minnesota Wild played their final home game of the preseason against Chicago. Joel Eriksson opened the scoring in the game as both teams played what will be most of their opening night rosters. Former exile of Arizona, Dylan Strome, has found his footing in Chicago, and last night he found the back of the net to tie the game up in the first period. University of Minnesota hockey legend Alex Goligoski then scored to make the game 2-1. The newcomer is on a one-year contract and will likely be gone at the end of the year. But Chicago wasn't done yet, with Brandon Hagel tying the game up in the second half of the third period, taking the game to overtime, before new alternate captain Matthew Dumba scored for the Minnesota Wild. The two teams will meet again on Saturday.
Archaeologists have found a rare ancient toilet in Jerusalem. The toilet dates back to over 2,700 years ago when private bathrooms were a luxury in the Holy City. The Israeli Antiquities Authority said the carved limestone toilet was found in a rectangular cabin that was part of a large mansion overlooking the city. In Berlin, a 28-year-old man faces a hefty fine after trying to catch a flight to Munich on Thursday with a live mortar shell in his rustic. The man told Munich airport found the shell during a hiking trip in Switzerland and forgotten that it was in his bag. Bomb specialists were able to safely remove the live ammunition and destroy it. So that ship was scary, huh?
Yeah, I went to it a couple years ago. I'm from Minnesota, so I got to go up to Duluth to see it.
I've only been to haunted forests, so.
Not a big. I'm personally not a big spooky season.
Actually, I went to one that was called Abigail's Revenge.
Did you get revenge?
Yes.
All right, that's great to hear. And that's all the time we have for this week. I'm Michael Cudahy.
I'm Abigail Fakes.
And this was Public Eye News.
The preceding program was produced by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television, in studios located in Elizabeth and Edgar Hardin Hall.